Look, I get it. As a self employed mom, as those of us working for ourselves with kids at home, whether our kids are in school, homeschooled, whatever it is, we can easily get overwhelmed. We feel emotionally tapped. We want to build something beautiful, but we're holding it all together, right? I get it. So, I want to talk to you about a few things today that you can do, shifts you can start making that will make these things feel a little easier, a little less overwhelming. These are things that I work through with myself and my clients that help us be preventing burnout, even when creativity stagnates or lessens. But overall, we prevent burnout. We have a rhythm for life that gives us balance. And that's something I want to help you to do too. So today I want to talk to you about some of those things and why they're important. So the first one is values and prioritization. Something I've noticed in my work as a therapist and as a coach is that sometimes my clients don't actually think about what their values are. So we think we know what we value. And then when we sit down and we actually engage with our values, we realize we haven't been living them out. We haven't been prioritizing according to them. And so when we sit down and we actually figure out our values, that becomes something that we are able to navigate and figure out, oh, I can drop this thing or I can prioritize this thing. And this is moving me closer to my value of more time with my family, more financial freedom, less time doing these certain tasks, those kinds of things. Um, and that is one of the first steps that I help my clients through as we're establishing rhythms for their life, which leads to the next one, rhythm over balance. We talk a lot about work life balance and just life balance in general. And really, what happens is if we create a rhythm for our lives where our lives move in a way that is natural and that we are comfortable with, we find balance happens a lot more because it's on a broader scale. We're not looking at balance in the day to day. We're looking at an overall, how am I feeling in my life? Am I comfortable in my life? And so rhythms help us do that. They help us realize this day can be filled with more things, this day with less things. I can have more structure here, less structure here. I can spend more time on my work in this season and more time with my family in this season. For me, that looked like taking almost a year off of coaching and writing to focus on building my private practice, my therapy practice, where I see therapy clients. And that is really part time now. So people ask me, how do you do it all? How are you running three businesses and being a mom and you're chronically ill and neurodivergent? How are you doing it? Well, I'm doing it part time and I'm doing it in a rhythm that allows my life to work. For example, I am filming this video when a client session got moved. And so that left me with time. My kids are home, they're out of school today, and I'm utilizing my time so that when my normal client blocks are over, I am fully with my kids, or I get to read my books while they play, or things like that. So that's how rhythm works. The next thing is intentionality. This one is going to go with all of them, but being intentional. Once we know our values, once we've established a rhythm, once we've simplified, which is going to be the next thing we talked about, intentionality allows us to make choices that will actually feed into those things that we want, choices that will actually allow us to live the life we want to live, right? Intentionality is about what we actually want to make happen. If my value is more time freedom, I'm going to intentionally make decisions on how I put boundaries around my businesses, how I spend my free time. I'm going to intentionally put boundaries around what I say yes and no to. If my value is more time by the water, which for me is something I would really like in this season of life, I'm going to make intentional decisions that say, how can I make this happen? For me, that's going to be turning the back of my car into a mobile office so that I can go sit by the water and do work. Because I live in the Pacific Northwest. It gets rainy. If I go to the water and it's raining, I can't really work. So if I'm in the comfort of my car, I can work by the water. It kind of works that way. I have an office that faces the water. It's beautiful. So we make intentional decisions. If I want to spend more time with my kids, I make intentional decisions like filming this when I would have a client session, but it was moved. And that way, when my client hours are over, I'm not trying to fit something else in. And I didn't postpone this video for another day. So that's also great. So intentionality in our decisions. The next one is simplification. So we live in a fast paced, everyone is always hustling society. And my goal is to help moms reduce the hustle and still make peaceful income that impacts their families, but without sacrificing what they want for their family, the family setup they want to create, whether it's homeschooling, sending their kids to school, whether it's utilizing daycare or not utilizing daycare, whatever that looks like. And that comes from simplification, which is something I'm not the best at. I will be honest. I complicate everything. And part of that is decluttering and organizing. And I'm not the best at either of those things either. And so right now I'm in a season of intentional simplification, little things day by day that simplify my life, whether that's decluttering something like I did to my desk recently, or bringing in an organizational system like I did with my files for all of my papers, which was a big sticking point for me. I even worked with an organizer for part of my home, and the papers I was like paralyzed. I couldn't tackle it. So I have a system now. It's temporary, but it works for now. But simplification helps us because then we're not spending mental energy trying to figure out where things are going to go, how we're going to do something, all of this stuff. With the When we put simplification with intentionality and our values, we establish our rhythm, and that rhythm is how we live so that we feel calm and balanced and we prevent burnout. I am over here trying to help moms. A lot of moms think burnout is just part of the process. It doesn't have to be. We've all been there. I've been there, but it doesn't have to be part of just the process. And for those of us that are chronically ill and neurodivergent, we don't have the time or the energy to burn out anyway. Like it happens constantly, but we also just don't, if we're moms, we don't have the time for it. None of us as moms have the time for that. So the last one is gratitude. When we put in a practice of gratitude into our lives, it feels less overwhelming. Our lives feel more connected with what we want out of them, and we feel better about where we are and what we're doing. And it also helps us really connect with what is actually going well. The world is overwhelming right now. We hear negative things all the time. We have negative things going on in our head all the time. I know that when I get one little thing wrong, it can feel like I'm not doing good enough, right? We can sometimes have these negative messages in our head, and gratitude helps us really refocus and reshift. And so while you're looking at how to prevent burnout or feel less burnout, or you want to have good uh rhythms come into your life, then these are some places to start. I know rhythm is one of them, but if you want to establish those rhythms that make you feel better, that make you feel more connected with your life, that give you this life that you've always dreamed of. Maybe that's a weeknight where you've got food cooking in the crock pot and bread in the oven and you're watching your favorite cozy fall TV show while your kids play and you're hanging out with your husband. If that is what you're going for, this will help you get there faster and without all the mental drama and chaos. So, if you're like, yeah, that sounds great, but I don't want to do it alone, I have a mentorship community, a group community where I actually coach women through this. It has bi-monthly coaching with me live in a group. It also has community connection. There is a community component because for moms, that's so important. You get resources and support. And I have a free tier because I really want access to this, at least for the foreseeable future. I have a free tier. It does not come with bi-monthly coaching, but it will have coaching pop-ups, but it comes with that community. Most of the community spaces, it comes with some resources. It does come with pop-up live coaching, but I'm also in the community active, answering questions. And so there is a free tier for that, but there's also the paid tier, and there's only one paid tier. Anyone who pays get access to the full membership, the full mentorship, all of it. There's not a like more after that. And if you're thinking, well, yeah, that sounds great, but I need more one-on-one support. I want to figure out how to do this, but I don't know how to establish the rhythms. I don't know. I feel like I'm so lost in trying to evaluate my values. I don't have a way to um, figure out this simplification and these shifts. And the membership sounds great, but a group might not work for me. I do have select individual one-on-one spots because most of my one-on-one work goes into my therapy practice. I don't have as many for coaching, but I do have a few. So if that's you, you can reach out and say, "Hey, I love the idea of the membership, but this." So I do have some one-on-one spots open, but if you're thinking, "This membership sounds great. I can connect with other moms, get to have coaching in a group setting. Someone can walk me through how do we values clarify? How do we prioritize the values? What does the simplification look like? How do I establish my rhythm? And how do I make intentional decisions? What does that look like?" I have that membership. It is open, but the first live call doesn't happen until the 15th, which is actually coming up, October 15th. And so that first live call is actually going to be for the free and the paid tiers. So I would love to see you there. The information for that will be below, but starting with these steps is how you can start to really make a shift in your life. So you are preventing burnout. You're not as overwhelmed. You have more time and focus with your family, with your kids, and you have more time and focus for whatever business you're running or whatever hobbies you have. And I would love to talk more about that. So I will see you all soon and have a great day. Bye, everybody.